Thinking Tackle Podcast.
Welcome to the Thinking Tackle Podcast. Today I'm joined in the studio by Rob Burgess. Now Rob was a Korda sponsored angler before landing the job of becoming Korda's first ever carp fishing coach. Now away from his coaching duties, he splits his time between fishing on some big fish syndicate waters such as the Essex Manor to competing at the highest level on the carp fishing match scene. Recently, he's fulfilled a personal ambition by landing a very old and exclusive common carp from a Colne Valley syndicate water. Rob, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on.
Yeah, second time I think. I come on here with Dan, Pecky and Tom, didn't we, doing a masterclass one?
We all remember that episode very well.
Oh yes, Simon, yeah, you had a bit of a calamity, didn't you?
That might have to be our next podcast highlight clip,
That's character building, that is, Rob,
yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I've never seen you get so frustrated in my life. That was good.
It was awful. I mean, it was just a countdown, wasn't it, when we were watching the screen, wasn't it? And you've got the gaffer there, haven't you? And Toby's just hiding behind the monitor there and
laughing,
trying to laugh very quietly.
You know, when you're trying to do the most slick intro possible, and it never works, does it? You've got to be natural.
And then you've got Dan just like, no, mate, you can do it. Go with it.
That definitely makes it worse, doesn't it?
It was like, yeah. But that was an interesting experience. But you know, like I say, we learn.
You do.
That was a while ago now as well.
Yeah, that must have been 2 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, have you got a nice gift for us?
I did. I brought a little bit of background about the gift. So I'm sure we're touching it later on. I think we touched on it a little bit already. Matches, you know, big part of my angling. Absolutely love them. And this was my first ever experience in a match. Me and my mate Lewis, keen carp anglers, thought we was half sensible. Done a qualifier in the BCACs. Do you know what? I don't even know what the lake does anymore, if it's even still being fished. Or
St George's.
St George's, I have no idea where it is.
We've got nice bars there. Yeah,
long story short, we won the eliminator and we got rewarded with this lovely vase. It's been my penny pot since 2005. How it's still
is it
in one piece, I wouldn't know.
You put all your £2 coins in there, Rob, do you?
5p's, mate, yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it's nice, that. Go on, hold it up a bit higher.
There we go.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, look after it.
And Korda
we'll put our 5p's in it now.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
We'll put our 1 pennies in there.
Yeah, that's it.
Too good for a penny pot.
And quite significant as well. I mean, Korda sponsored that match as well.
They did, yeah. I think they sponsored the event for a couple of years. I don't think they've done a lot, but for a few years they sponsored the event. That's why we get a nice vase. These days you get your peg number. That's about it for qualifying. Yeah. So yeah, we got some nice stuff.
First match, though, I mean, you talk about getting off to a good start, you know, in a match, but I mean, to win your first qualifier as well, I mean, that's
where probably the buzz came from.
Yeah. That
experience, you know, of doing well. I have no idea how we got in the later rounds. I can't remember. It was 16 years ago. I was probably 19. But
who were you fishing with?
A lad called Lewis Collins. I met him at Horseshoe. I said that's a lie, actually. I used to fish with him at Horseshoe. He's a very close sort of neighbourish to me back in the day, and very good angler. He was very, very. He doesn't fish so much anymore, but I learnt a lot from Lewis in the early days of Horseshoe, because he'd been there a couple of years before me, got me on there, and yeah. So
you guys were catching a lot at Horseshoe before you just decided to team up with each other?
He was. I weren't. I was learning the hard way over there. You know?
You?
Yeah. It's a steep learning curve, that one.
Yeah.
When you're young, you know, I had no idea of spodding and big lakes, 72 acres.
One of those lakes, isn't it? We started fishing there in 1990 pretty much, and it's one of those lakes, isn't it, where if you got it right, I mean, brilliant. It was the most exciting fishing you could ever do.
But if you get it wrong, you start cracking off, putting yourself in situations where you'd never been before. It's a tormenting place.
It is, because, I mean, you're fishing in weed and you've got to be able to find spots. I know some of the spots now are quite probably well known, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you still need to actually... There's an awful lot of people that I still come across now that are probably my age, so they're old. And they can't use a marker float properly even now. And Horseshoe and, you know, finding spots.
It's changed so much over there. I remember we used to walk our lines out. I'm sure you did as well, you know. Now it's wrap sticks, isn't it?
We had a few calamities with that, actually, Robert.
Walking your lines out?
Yeah, I've had mowers going over my lines and I think I said this on the Bobby Zamora podcast.
Oh, it was this, wasn't it?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Actually, thanks, Bobby. Actually, I did use those wrapping sticks actually the other day. So I was telling in this story where I was walking my lines out on Save, and as I got one of the rods out, the bailiff comes along on his lawnmower.
No.
And so you got your rods lying down on the floor, and he goes straight across all the lines and everything.
No.
All sorts of calamities. Right?
Oh, I've had some calamities. You're fishing a fair way out at Horseshoe sometimes, 100 yards out. So and it's fairly weedy, like you said. You're 100 yards away from your rod. You walk your line out, you come back, and your left hand bobbin's smashed up against the delk, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly the best way of doing things back in the day, but that was the way we done it.
Was that your very first experience then with proper gravel pit carp fishing?
Yes, yeah. The lakes before that, very small, 7, 8, 9 acres, so that place was a sea. I wasn't driving, I was 19, and everything back then as well, we're talking like 2001, I think I started fishing Horseshoe. Like for instance, leaders, they're so thick and ropey, and they go through the rings clattering, the amount of crack-offs. It's just... you don't need it when you're trying to learn somewhere and trying to catch them. You need things to go smooth.
Yeah.
But I learnt the hard way the first year. Punished.
The solid PVA fishing, which you're really good at now. Did you get straight into that when you started fishing horse?
Yes. I had that in my locker, and I knew that if the spotting weren't going well, I could put a solid bag out there and catch fish. That was the joys of solid bag fishing. You wouldn't have got that result from just a single hook bait, but... running around Summer Bay, chasing carp with solid bags.
Yes.
Your confidence, it just grows from just multiple catches, and it's my solid bag kit never ever leaves the van, and it's etched from Horseshoe.
Does it ever surprise you that so bag fishing is in some respects the absolute polar opposite to putting bait out, but you can fish with solid bags, not put that much bait out, and have a result like you would over a big baited area. It's just it's one extreme to the next, isn't it? I know when we were at Norton Disney as well, and you were doing it there, you were getting bite after bite on a solid PVA bag. Anyone would potentially think we're looking at the screen now with Rob's
I was doing some coaching there with a lad from Farlow's, and I was sort of teaching him sort of my way. That one that he made up on the left there, or maybe you're right.
So the one that we're looking at on the left is quite a big, kind of ungainly looking PVA bag, isn't it? And your ones are small and compact.
Taught him the finesse. Yeah, my little sort of flatbed feeder. I've got the lead the other side. It's a great way of fishing in silkweed, or up against rushes and things like that where the bottom's not great, and your hook bait could easily get lost in all that pellet. But that way you're fishing every single time, and I fish like that a lot now.
So your horseshoe fishing, did you kind of use that type of method on one part of the lake against the other? So the Summer Bay and the Winter Arm are quite different, aren't they?
Solid bags was all I knew. After I'd caught my first carp on a solid bag, that's all I knew. And that was how I fished, whether it be Summer Bay, Winter Bay, tropical storm. May take me 20 casts to get it out there. That solid bag's going out there.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever catching a horseshoe carp in that era, other than a solid bag.
Really?
Yeah, because it was that's all I knew. I was worried about tangles, and I still am now, but I can fish with normal rigs now. But yeah, solids is just gets bites, and I honestly believe it just outperforms everything else. I've tried. When I'm fishing normally, like at Norton Disney, you just mentioned there, that session, solids are faff. Drying the lead, putting it out. Sometimes you don't hit the clip perfect. You've got to do it again, where a normal little rig, you can get it out there first time or reel it in and put it back out second time really easy. You just don't get the bites as quick. You will get bites, but it's nowhere near as quick.
But do you find as well that you learn more accuracy with your casting as well?
Yeah.
You don't want to have to keep recasting a solid bag, do you?
No, because it sometimes it does take 10 casts, but as soon as it's on the money, bite.
Do you think any conditions then, Rob, that the solid PVA bag potentially would, outfish, normal baiting up methods, or sometimes you feel that you just need to put more bait in the swim?
I fish like Farlow's quite a bit as well, and you put a solid bag out in the middle, it's going to be bream every time. nine times out of 10. You know, they're so effective that if the bream do start sniffing around with a small hook bait, you're going to end up catching them. So sometimes they're not the method to go to, but I love them. I honestly love them, and they've caught me so many carp from so many different venues, even in France. You know, like bait boating, rigs out. You know, where everything's no tangles. I remember we fished a lake called Foulette, and you know, you wait a long time for a bite, and we didn't get day bites either. It was all January to the night, and you're sitting there for the day thinking, I wonder what a solid bag would do. You put it out there, you get a bite. It's not coincidence. It's you know, they just, whether it's that short hook link, that small little hook bait amongst the pellet. You know, it's no difference for the match guys. You know, the lads that are on the seat boxes, the Steve Ringers and stuff. You give them an option of fishing one of their flatbed feeders or a little hair rig, and tell me how many of the bites they're going to get versus the other, and they'll tell you every single time that flatbed feeder's going to go out.
Why don't you think? Because I mean, Nick Hellier's mesh bag setup. I mean, that was supposed to be the setup.
The little sticks.
Yeah, the sticks.
Yeah.
So that was the setup that's supposed to rival the solid PVA bag. But do you think it's...
No, it doesn't. I've been in situations, like, I'm going to use Farlows as another example, and where you're hauling, you know, you're on them. You know, you're just on the fish, you're fishing up against the island, you've got to be on the money with it, so your casting is paramount, but solid bag after solid bag after solid bag, bite, and you think, let's have a little play with a little stick. You make up a relatively short hook link, you know, make it all nice, you put your little meshy bag, bang on the spot, and you'll wait another quarter of an hour.
Why? What?
I don't know.
Because it's, I mean, the hook link's concealed, everything's...
Mate, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just... Honestly, they catch them.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in a situation where, well, I need to catch a carp, you know, the kit's coming out, you know.
Do you mess around with hook baits too much with that, bait colours and stuff like that as well?
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Match the hatch is a very, very good way of doing it. I've got some real cool little 8mm wafters and that match the pellet perfectly. And, yeah, they do really, really well.
Small
really
baits generally?
Always.
Yeah.
I used to fish a lot of dumbbells as well. I've seen dumbbells do really well. The little mainline ones are perfect for it. I actually use the match ones. They're like 6 to 8mm. Again, you're feeding sort of 4-6mm pellet. They're not even going for the hook bait half the time. They just see a nice big pile of bait, their mouth's coming over.
Boom, it's gone.
Yeah, your little wafters, it's too late.
Always wafters. You wouldn't necessarily just pop a bait
Never fished a pop-up in a bag, ever, in my life.
You don't really need to, do you?
I don't think you do. You know, especially the way I do it, like I mentioned, with the hook bait on top. It's on the top of the bag. You know, it's away from the silkweed. It's away from the silt or.
Well, it's
brushes.
Inconspicuous, isn't it? It's such an inconspicuous rig.
It's getting popular now, though. A lot of people are using it. A lot, and for, I mean, I've mentioned it loads of times on masterclasses and films, and you know, you can give a fairly novice angler a solid bag. They've not really got to hit the clip. They've not got to feel the lead down on the bottom. And they're still fishing extremely well.
Do you recast regularly with those?
It all depends on the situation. You know, if I think like I should be getting bites, absolutely. You know, but there's some lakes where you've just got to chill out. You put your rigs out, and you wait till one jumps on the end.
So you plumb spots and find features and just.
Oh, it's not just a pub chuck. It's not just a pub chuck. You know, you're putting them absolutely on the money every single time. And if it doesn't go on the money, you're redoing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's just fishing. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't matter what rig you put out there. If it ain't going out there bang on the money, what's the point of being there?
We done a trip to Farlow. Did I mention this story to you?
No.
Last week? I told someone. I'm running out of stories here, Toby. And this was in '93. I think it was you. We were fishing along the M25
On
bank.
the smelly bank, yep.
That's right.
Yep.
And I said to you, the guy from, was it you?
I think we had a phone conversation the other
I
week
think we
about
might
this.
have done.
Yeah.
And a guy came along. He was obviously a very, very good angler. And there was you've got the Long Islands up your.
I think using the party swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a single island out there as well.
Slightly to your right.
Slightly to the right.
Party swim, yeah.
Yeah, and this guy turns up and he said, "Do you mind if I put one over to the island?" And his first cast looked mega, mega close. But his second cast was just absolutely ridiculous. It was like, we looked at each other, we said, "Well, that's on the island."
Yeah.
And he had a bite within just minutes. You kind of do a similar thing with solid bags, don't you? I've seen you casting through the branches.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of big overhangs on Farlows, you know, and there's a swim called Bodget and Leggett where you've got on the right hand island, right on the tip of it, you've got a big overhanging willow, and mate, if you can get a rig under that willow, it's a fish a bite, you know. They never fish for there. So you put a conventional rig on, whack it through the trees, whack it through the willow, it's just going to get snarled up in all the willow.
Oh, cool.
Where a solid bag will just punch straight through it, and you're there. You're in the nest, you know. So
In the nest.
In the cart, as Pecky, but they're in the nest, didn't you? You're in the dolly hole, and it's all changed a little bit, unfortunately, now at Farlow's, the bait boats and that. You know, lads are putting rigs where we could never get baits, even the best cast in the world.
So they're putting solid PVA bags out on their bait boats.
I think just rigs, mate. You're putting again. The first couple of months with bait boats at Farlow's was carvery. You know, you put in rigs where no rig has ever been in 30 years. These carp, no, they live in the underlays. A lot of them islands are so undercut. You know, even when you think you're tight, you're not tight. It's no good feeling a lead down on an island near Farlow's. You've got to literally hit the clip, lean the rod forward 6 foot so that the bag continues its trajectory under the island.
It's true, yeah.
You know, you feel for a lead, you're 4 foot off of it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, these guys now, they're putting, I won't fish the islands now because I know I can't fish close enough.
But doesn't that draw the fish out once they start getting caught there? So they're sort of doing you a bit of a favour. Then it's
the open water swims come back into it again.
To be fair, I fished yesterday, and I was trying to, again, as beginner as you like, but I was trying to get as close to the island as possible. And it's funny, as you said it, I'd done it once yesterday, totally by pure accident, but I clipped the end of some branches that were hanging off the island just as it come down. It was the quickest bite I had all day.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I just put the rod down and it went straight away.
If you're seeing leaves fall down, you're on the money.
Yeah, just clipped it. I thought that'll do all right, that. And then, as you said, spent the rest of the day trying to get there again and just couldn't do it.
But no, you do that with a rig, a normal rig.
It's going to get caught up, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
The bag, you still know.
Well, people that are watching or listening to this, you've got to be sensible as well, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's you know, but providing you've got no obstructions or anything like that, you know, it's deadly.
All the islands at Farlow's are pretty user friendly.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good fun. It could be frustrating as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Trust me.
We're going to put a shout out actually before we carry on.
It's not a Manscaped promo.
No, it's not.
I'm not shaving nothing.
We just thought we'd better tell everyone.
Yeah. I think we might have come to the end of that a little bit. But with the Manscaped stuff, actually, they're a shaver company. They do all these like manly bits and pieces. And I think one guy said, it's shameless advertising or something like that. Which the podcasts aren't really about that.
No.
We've never, but. You know, they were a big company, and we like for us, it was just, you know, some kind of acknowledgement that we've.
Mate, I'd be a terrible ambassador. I've got no hair on my arms even.
No, I know.
I wouldn't get nothing.
but for us, it was just it was an acknowledgement from outside of the fishing industry that we were doing a reasonable job, and you know, we don't want to get too much into this vanity stuff, but you know, we won't probably be doing any more either. But no, this one's a little bit different. Carp.
Yeah, it's a lovely story.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a message from Paula, the wannabe hauler.
I've seen her on Instagram. I think I actually follow her. Yeah. What's she up to, bless her?
Paula Marriott. She dropped us a message, didn't she? She tells us that she's got a massive afro. This is what she said. But to
she's a paramedic, isn't she?
That's it. Yeah. But to raise money for iCarp, she's doing a head shave.
Oh, fair play.
And they're doing it. She wants to raise £1,000 because they're building a complex of lakes. Is that right?
Yeah. So Mark, who was on the podcast last year, Dr. Mark Wheeler, they've just purchased.
I've just thrown that Just Giving page up as well.
Yeah, I've done a little bit with Mark. With iCarp.
Lovely guy.
Lovely
and he's
fella.
and he's doing some good work with PTSD, armed forces. Hopefully now he's managed to purchase these lakes, he might be able to expand that as well. So
brilliant.
he's got some lakes now, and
you need to check it out on Instagram.
You should follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, their Instagram is hot at the moment. There's loads of great pictures.
Yeah, the iCarp Instagram page.
Yeah.
But
this is our Just Giving page. If anybody is, you know, interested, it's a lovely story. And as you said, well, Mark does some brilliant work.
And I think she said she's shaving her head on the 15th of May. She said it was either the Saturday or the Sunday.
Yeah, that's it.
Just Giving page. So
they're caught the way there. Bless them. Look.
Yeah, they're doing really well. So
yeah.
Great charity. I've done a little bit of work with Mark, and Yeah, he's a lovely fella. He's got his son as well, Dan, a lovely lad.
Yeah. Bailey, isn't it?
Yeah, Dan, yeah. Cav does a lot with him as well.
Yeah.
It's close to his heart, I think, Cav, as well. The PTSD side of things, he sees it in his work, line of work as well.
I think we can all relate to it. You know, I mean, whether it's armed forces or stuff that we've been through in our own lives, you know, and you know, he's got an awful lot of drive, and to be able. It was funny as well, actually. Prophesised on. He didn't prophesise. I asked him how he'd like to see iCarp in the coming years, and he said, "Well, ideally, I'd own my own fishery," and he managed to get a lease.
Get there.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So now he's got support from Embryo and Environmental Agency, Angling Trust. They're all supporting it, but obviously you can't ever get enough support, can you? And
mate, of course not. Things like that, no, they need all the support they can get. And
they do. So well done, Paula.
Yeah, well done.
And continue to get on a Just Giving page. So Rob, you've been doing a bit of your own fishing recently.
Yes, mate, which is rare. I don't do a lot. You know, people probably think I'm a full-time angler being on the bank 4 days a week, but no, mate, I really don't. My annual leave is generally for the girlfriend, going away or just anything away from fishing, because I'm on the bank so much. You know, it's mixing business with pleasure is not always the best. But now recently, obviously it's spring, you need to get out, didn't you? And I got myself back on a very, very, very special place. It's been there from, you know, I learnt to fish down there. You know, Croxley Hall has been everything to me over the years. You know, it was my first ever proper syndicate. A lot of my really good friends, Marc Cav, for instance, I met him at Croxley. You know, I've got some old friends that have been with me forever because of that place. So it's special. And there's always been that one fish, mate, that just, she's always been there. I've never caught it. And a big dream come reality. Was it 4 or 5 days ago?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little bit about Croxley. 1998, Toby took on the lease for Croxley. It was a trout lake before that. The owner, Paul, had quite a few trout lakes. And
you've got the old lodge there, haven't you? Which
Yes.
is still very, like, it's not carpy at all.
Do you know, it's mad how many people know about Croxley Hall because it's non-publicity.
Yeah.
You know, I've been given special permission by Toby to talk about Croxley today. And you might even see a few pictures that...
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Toby. Yeah, because the carp in there are mega. You know, they need to be shown off a little bit. And but I'll get a history of Croxley. So I started fishing there in 2000, and back then there was, I believe, sort of 250 to 300 of the Croxley Commons, as they're known as. They're very different to your average common. You know, if people know about farriers, they're very similar commons. There's not many of them in the country, or lakes in the country that hold these commons. Apparently they're from the monks back in the day, like really old carp, but they're a lot shorter, very thick across the back. You know, big like dimples on their heads, and they get big, mate. You know, we was catching them. So in 2000 they were averaging, I'd say 17 to 23 pound. 10 years later, they're knocking on 40s, and then we had one at the long go 58. These are big carp. They're very slow growers. They just get there, you know, and they seem to last a long time as well. They're not just, they blow up to big sizes and pass away, you know. But now we're left with Croxley's got, back then, there's 250 of them, and really importantly, there was 8 originals. Originals. There was 6 mirrors and 2 commons. The biggest out of the 8 was the top 3. You had the big common and Elvis. A lot of people will probably know Elvis. Made many people happy. It was my PB for many years. And the big common, which was just, it was like a glass fish. It just had this gloss to it. Just beautiful. And
there you go. Let's chuck that one up first.
Look at that old Elvis. I was well young.
He's massive.
He was a
huge,
big old carp.
So we're looking at, like you say, a very thick set fish there. Massive fins. Was that a male? Do you think?
It must have been, mate.
Yeah, look at that.
It was big old fins, but just a character of the Colne Valley.
Sorry, Rob, how old were you there, mate?
I would have been.
a bit, hasn't it?
There's a bit of hair there, I know. I would have been about 18 there.
Wow.
A long time ago, you know. You're talking like 18, longer than, 18, 19 years
What's it
ago.
like looking back on that then?
Mate, it doesn't feel
not
that
bad,
long
is it?
ago. It doesn't, but it was so long
Goes
ago.
fast.
But old...
Sorry, what made you join there? I mean, at the time, I guess it wasn't a super sought-after syndicate ticket then?
No, No, a few years later it did. A lot
Yeah.
of people wanted to fish it, but I only learnt about it from local anglers at my local club. They started fishing it, and one of them caught Elvis, and then Elvis became, one of the ones. And there's the old.
You look even younger in that one.
That fish there, mate, is just. They don't make
Nice
them
common.
like that anymore. That's Croxley's big common and
That's a wicked
special
looking fish.
carp, mate. Yeah, that's my first ever 30-pounder.
Wow.
Was it?
Your first ever 30. She was about 33 then. She got up to 40 pound. God knows what she would have got to. Should have carried on, but she's gone. Never got found dead. She just disappeared. So is she still there? No, she's not. But she's and there was another one called Blind Eye, and elusive character, doesn't come out a hell of a lot. Never caught it, mate. I've been there since 2000. I've probably done 6, 7, 8 years of not solid angling, but I was down there a fair bit, and up until recently I'd not fished it for 6 years, and I lost it many years ago, and I know 100% they called it Blind Eye. It's got like a green glass eye to it, and I lost it at the net. It wounded me, mate. Wounded me.
Right.
Gutted, but
No mistaking it.
no. It was Blind Eye.
Yeah.
But it kept for me that Croxley spirit alive that always wanted to go back. And she got big. At the time I weren't there, she's gone from me losing it when she was probably 36, and now she's gone 50. And she's not just a carp. She is like
History book.
she's everything. She's been everything to me. Whenever I go back to Croxley and that alarm goes off, it's like, is it Blind Eye? Is it going to be Blind Eye? And yeah, man, I caught her last week, and she was
There it is.
just mate.
What do you think of that one then, Tobe?
Yeah, the colour is lovely on that, isn't
That's
it?
a 45-year-old
Striking, isn't it?
carp with
Yeah.
a mouth like that. She's just.
It's like prehistoric, isn't it?
She is a weapon, mate. So thick across the tail, and
I mean, she looks old, doesn't she? There.
yeah. And when I caught that last week, guess who was there to net it? And Toby has been a big part of my angling, the leaseholder now. He's been a big part of my fishing. I learnt a lot from Toby, from feeling a lead down, just everything, surface fishing. He taught me a lot. I don't tell him that, but he did. He still turns me over now. He's a very, very good angler, and he was there to net it for me. Very fitting,
Poignant,
mate. It
isn't it?
was a moment,
Mm.
and that will be the best carp I ever catch in my life. You could take me down to Burfield tomorrow on a guest. I could fluke out the renowned best fish in the country, which is the Burfield Common, and it wouldn't mean what that one there meant, getting it in the net.
So where'd you go after that? After catching your all-time sought
Yeah.
after fish?
Mate, I've been back since. I still enjoy it.
Hmm.
I still enjoy it down there. There's still a couple in there that I haven't caught, that I may have caught. I don't know, because the Croxley Commons, they're all a little bit similar. And there's one in there, the little long, that will be knocking on £50. Whether I caught it at 17, 18, £19, I couldn't tell you, But that one there, she was the last of the Mohicans for me on that lake.
Yeah.
And long live her. She could have died a long time ago, and I never got that chance to hold her. And the pictures would never do her justice either.
Sorry, Rob. How many years were you after that one then?
I say after it, I've known about it for sort of 20 years of my life.
Wow.
I fished for it for probably, 6 to 8 years, I'd say.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
You know that you don't just
Yeah.
storm on somewhere and catch something like that straight away.
No.
It keeps you coming back. And
I'm glad it's taken that long in a way to catch it, because it made it so much more special.
right.
And for Tobe to be there as well, mate, I was emotional. I put out the biggest scream I've ever
Did
done.
you?
It's my biggest carp I've ever catch, and if I don't beat 48.10 in my life, I wouldn't care, because having that as a PB is special to me.
Yeah, it's not just the size, is it?
No,
it's the
no.
whole. It's the whole story that goes with it.
Yeah,
And it's a lovely fishery as well, isn't it? So
it's beautiful, mate.
you were talking about Horseshoe, but I mean Croxley is a small gravel pit as well. So
Yeah.
did that help with your early fishing then? Were you fishing there before Horseshoe?
Yeah, so I was 2 years on Croxley before I went to Horseshoe. Very different lakes. Down there it's all riggy and finesse and nice accurate baiting with catapults it was. You're only fishing 10 yards out. Horseshoe, you're 110 yards out, battling the wind, crack-offs, wind knots. you've gone from pleasurable fishing, you know, that every rod you put out is absolutely bang on the money, to just disasters and stress. But when you get it right at Horseshoe, it is very, as you know, it's very rewarding. Getting them multiple hits, making it happen, having to move constantly, looking at the weather, thinking they're here now, but they're not going to be here in 2 days' time when that weather front comes in. You know, you work hard at Horseshoe. Where Croxley, it's relaxed, it's chilled, it's a treat.
To the number of anglers on Croxley, I fished there a few years ago. I said I fished with a guy called John Grant.
Yes, another character.
What a
of Croxley.
character he was.
Again, just so many cool characters. A very talented man as well with his sketches as well.
Very, very talented.
Not seen John for many years, but
I haven't spoken to him for about 5 years.
Yeah, him and my dad. My dad used to fish Croxley as well. I used to get on like House on Fire. You know,
everyone would get on with John.
You can't not.
Yeah.
But other Stuart Court, I know you know him. Just fantastic anglers. You know, Steve Falco, Cav. You could reel off like David Seaman has been on. He's spoke about on the podcast.
Adrian Smith's fishing.
Adrian Smith. You know, he's a global megastar.
I know.
But at Croxley, he's just we don't talk about that. I've had cups of tea with Adrian plenty of times, and he's just talking about the fish. And
I would imagine that's exactly the way Adrian likes it as well.
Yeah.
I know when I went down there with John, he said, "Do you know that Iron Maiden guy fishes here?" And it's like, yeah.
No, honestly, I don't know.
But it's Scott Maslin fished there?
Scott Maslin as well. He caught the long a little while ago. Big weight, like 56 pound. Yeah. Another character, you know. But when you're on the bank with these sort of fellas, you know, to a lot of people, they are megastars. What we're interested in talking about is the carp.
But that's exactly why Croxley is the way it is.
It's special,
because it's special, and it's secluded and quiet. You get away from all of that.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no publicity around it either. So, you know, Blind Eye, you know, if she was in the public eye, she'd be well sought after. But not a lot of people know about it. A lot of people wouldn't have seen pictures, but these fish do exist in.
In the busy world of modern carp fishing.
They're still there, lurking around, older than me, making people extremely happy, under the radar.
So the differences between, Croxley's a lot smaller, but you've got features in there. You've got gravel bars and stuff there.
Oh, mate, Croxley's got it all, and it's a fantastic place to learn. You know, it gets weedy. There's some fantastic gravelly areas in there. The floater fishing down there, you know, they're not easy to catch from the top either down there. They've mugged many a man off. I've seen John Grant get turned over a few times and all. He did go on to catch a few, to be fair, but you've got to be finesse as well. I've learnt a hell of a lot at Croxley, you know, from the likes of John Grant, Stuart Courts, Toby, you know, and stood me well over the years. Without Croxley, you know, I wouldn't be the angler I am now, without a doubt. I learnt a lot.
Well, gravel pit fishing is by nature more technical.
And, crystal clear, you know, it's just, you learn everything.
The amount of anglers on there, because it is quite an intimate lake. I mean, is that influencing the fishing there, or can you still have good sessions when there's a lot of people on there?
Mate, no, it's less busier now, and there's silly amounts of 40s in there, you know, like a dozen 40s in 10 acres and potentially a couple of 50s at the right time of year. And me and Toby was there last week for 2 nights. I think there was 4 on. People, the lads that fish it, we've got a lot of the older generation as well, and it's a treat for them. They don't punish it, you know. It's not like, oh, get that Croxley, need more. You know, it is a treat. You know, I wouldn't want to be down there 48 on, 48 off, 48 on. It is like you want that experience to last for a number of years. You want to be there. You don't want to catch them all in a year. It'd be the worst thing ever, because it's just a special place. And some of these members, you know, I met a couple of lads. Guppy was down there the other day. Jules Delacarta was there the other day. These are boys that are still there.
They
like
keep
me.
their tickets for a long time on there, do they?
Special lake.
Yeah.
You know, you reserve £1,000 each year to fish that place. You know, and it's and if you give your ticket up, like a lot of lakes, you know, you're going to be kicking yourself. Even if you go 2 or 3 times a year, so be it.
So the new ones coming through now, then are they going to kind of be a repeat of the original ones? Do you think? The
ones that are coming through now are special carp. These are not just stockies. These are. So I had a few this week at 37 and 35, and these are true leanies. You know, I helped stock these in 2004, 2007.
True leanies.
True leanies.
Where did they come from?
I don't know. Toby is very, very particular. Now we've got some new stockies in there now from VS. And beautiful, but Toby has literally hand-picked them. You know, we might have had like 40 on site, and like the top 8 go into Croxley and then they go into Cress Acres and stuff. And he's very particular about the mouths and the heads and the tails, and and the frames.
What size does he put them in at?
Generally big. They're all sort of C6s, 20-pounders. I had one this week. We stocked it in December at 22. It's at 26 already.
So quite old carp, aren't they?
Yeah, C6s. Yeah.
So, I mean, 7 years old?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Putting older fish into lakes. Do you find that they do as well?
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Definitely, they get big.
Matt Pettit here was saying that there is a danger with putting older fish into lakes, that they become, they're too nurtured. The longer that they stay in a stock pond for, the more nurtured they become, and the diet that they're kind of living off at the time, and it's like growing an adult.
I will tell you in a few
years.
years. They've only been in there, these new era of fish. I think there's about 30 or 40 of them. They've only been in 6 months. They're all living healthy at the minute. They're all looking incredible. They're all darkening up. And they're still elusive. Not all of them will come out,
You find that they go in there and they might get hooked once, and then
once they've been hooked once, and then VS, they can be tricky. We've got a few embryo waters that they're very elusive.
How much weight are they putting on it at the moment?
Like I say, we stocked one. I had quite a leathery character the weekend. We stocked it in £22 in December. Bearing in mind, because of lockdown and that, it's not seen that much bait through January, February, half of March, and it's already put on £4. It's going to be a future big one. But them leanies that are coming through, they were stocked at £5-6, and you look at the stocking pictures, and they could just be any old carp in a lake, and now they sort of hit 32, 33 and just transform. Just proper long, big pecs, massive tails.
Because they weren't always renowned for growing that big, were they?
No,
really?
And they haven't. They've not.
But longevity, they just live for a long time.
These are old fish now.
Yeah.
They're probably 25, 30 years old, and they're not got to £40. But what they lack in £40 barrier, they make up in just true epic carp. And you catch them at mid-30, they're special.
We caught those. They're 70 years old.
Yeah.
70 years old. I mean, that is just mental, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, it's nice to go down there and catch, just special carp.
Yeah.
It's the country in 20 years' time will be a different place. A lot of these special carp, like we lost Colin this week, didn't we? We are sadly losing them, and things like blind eye, we haven't got many years left. And if she'd have died without me catching her, mate.
Yeah, well, luckily you don't need to worry about that, do you?
Wounded me,
but I mean, it's the same. I mean, as a fishery owner, you would probably be wise to just trickle a few fish in.
Yeah.
So you're in that situation with Croxley, and in domestic UK carp fishing in general, as long as these fish keep getting reintroduced to these.
It's so important to keep every 5 years. You've got to every year introduce 2 or 3. You've not got to go balls deep and whack loads in. It's just, unfortunately, they're getting old and they will die. But you've got to get the next generation coming through. And Croxley was known for its commons. That's all it was known for. You associate Croxley with its commons. Now, it's probably 70-30 mirrors, but they're epic. They're not just some random old mirrors that are put in. These are like the future that are going to take Croxley to the next step again.
Yeah, and these old gravel pits as well. They have a tendency to keep coming back, don't they?
They do, mate. Even when the big uns die, we lost along last year at 58. One will come through and take its place.
Always.
Why that happens? There must be some sort of hierarchy in the feeding structure of it all, but one will come through.
Yeah.
Whether that be one of the leanies, one of the Croxley commons will step up and take the place. Maybe even Blind Eye might go, well, my time of being queen of the pond now, even though she's always been queen.
That would be good to talk to Simon Scott about that, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To find out why that is. Wellington Park and places like that as well. You lose a tremendous amount of big fish. Doesn't
take long. No.
I mean, these old waters, they're rich waters, high in nutrients, and they, so that's kind of, that makes sense. But why fish tend to take over after, the perceived hierarchy have gone, it's still a little bit of a mystery. But
they must communicate down there. They must communicate and be like, wait, my turn first. You get the runt of the food.
So, So you like your kind of more exclusive carp fishing, but you're also well known as the Korda Carp coach as well, aren't you?
Yeah, recent years. What's it been? Nearly 3 years now since I took on that role.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a unique job that is.
Very unique. You know, you've got a lot of lads doing tuitions and doing a very good job of it as well, giving out really good advice to lads because the sport is growing massively, hugely, and everyone wants to be really, really good. And I love it, man. And I say it's very unique. A lot of people are offering that sort of 24-hour service, but 90% of my stuff is just walking around lakes, chatting to guys, helping them out.
Yeah.
Free of charge.
Yeah.
You know, just giving out whatever advice they want, you know, and you can see the smile on my face. For me, it's just as good as catching them.
Yeah.
Watching someone buzz off a capture and you watch him put the rod back out and it goes absolutely bang on the money. That stays with you because I know it's staying with them.
Did you ever think, you know, that you were going to be a professional angling coach? I mean, it's a dream of a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never really had a dream of being in the industry. It was never something that I was like, I want to be in this position or that position. It's just things happen, didn't they? Like the job, I just see it advertised on Facebook. You know, I was actually a sponsored angler at the time for Korda, and I see it. And we had a sponsored anglers coordinator at the time. You know, you want bits and bobs, or if you go out of feature, you go out of him. And I just messaged him with a screenshot of the job saying, "That's a job and a half." And not a lot of things really inspire me in sort of the world of carp fishing, like job wise, but that stood out as, I'd say, unique, different, and what a lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, it's not a job. You know, you have to live and breathe. You have to want to wake up on a Wednesday and go, I'm going fishing for 4 days, and then the next Wednesday same again, and 3 years later I'm still buzzing to go fishing.
I think that's what people don't realise. I mean, when you're working it like that all the time, it can be very, very intense, can't it?
The winters are long. It's and then you come out the back of winter, and it's the best time. So you need to get motivated, and that's why you can't. I can't mix too much my own fishing with work fishing because you'd blow out. You know, I've never wanted to be a full-time carp angler. I couldn't be a full-time carp angler. I enjoy having a set amount of time. Make do with what you've got. You know, and I pick my times. Sometimes wisely, not sometimes, but and just.
Did someone have to talk you into applying for that job?
So I sent him the screenshot and said, like, that's interesting. What's the crack there? And he said, mate, you should go for it. And I was thinking, because it is so unique, you're going to get so many anglers.
How many people?
I don't know the actual numbers, but I did hear it was around sort of 250 applied. But yeah, I actually got an email, so I sent them the screenshot saying that's unique, sort of thing, and he was like, go for it, and I was like,
you need a certain amount of self-confidence there, though,
absolutely,
don't you? To actually be a coach for Korda as well.
It's a huge stepping stone, just going from someone that fishes and gets a little bit of free tackle every now and then to working in Korda is crazy. But I actually got an email from Dan saying, hi Rob, I'd spoke to Dan before. I think I'd done a Carp Academy at this time, one maybe, and talked to him like once a year at a show. Dan's very good with faces. He knows everyone. He's like, Rob, like, how's your fishing going? But yeah, he actually emailed me and said, I've heard you showed interest in the job. I want you to apply for it. And I was like, if that's not a calling card, I don't know what it is. So yeah, I sent him my CV. And
what did your CV have on it at the time?
Carp.
Matches.
Just, mate, I'm terrible. School, hated it. All I wanted to do was carp fish, you know. But I think what maybe like stood me out from the rest was just my passion for carp, you know, and just passion for helping people as well.
I mean, that's a great picture to back that up.
Oh mate, yeah, I look knackered. He got me up about 5 a.m, bless him.
Is that like Creek Lakes?
That's Creek Lakes. Do you know what? You meet some, and when you are coaching, you become real good pals with some of these lads, you know. And you
wouldn't get in a fight with that guy, Tobe, would you?
No, he's quite a big guy, isn't he?
He's a gentle giant, bless him. But yeah, that's a big old 60-pounder from Lake 2. And
that's massive, that, isn't it?
Mate,
he makes it look quite small though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I remember him coming out real late in the draw, and he had a real tricky little pokey corner. But them pokey little corners in Lake 2, you know, they do some big uns. And yeah, I helped him out, and I remember him shaking my bivvy at about 5 a.m, going, I've got one, it's massive.
Yeah.
And mate, the buzz I get from coaching and watching them catch fish of a lifetime is mega. It's mega, mate. Yeah.
Had you won a lot of matches previously to?
Not one. Qualified, yes. The only ones that I've really outright won is stand out is the Erics with Cav over at Farlow's. I've won a few regional.
But you did win 30 grand on that match as well, didn't you?
That helped me out, mate. I was skint as well, trust me.
Were you?
I think my last bit of money went into bait for the weekend.
Is that the biggest prize in domestic carp fishing?
It was. They ran that competition for 3 years. Sorry, Harry Charrington won it the first year, maybe 4 years. Harry won it. We won it. Then we came second, and then Erics got sold to Ang and Direct, and it all went to pot. But yeah, a lot of money back then, mate. You know, I didn't have a lot of money either then, so like it really helped us massively.
Have I got a video here of that match being won?
Mate, look at this.
This is the match where you won the 30 grand.
This was a fish that sealed the deal. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the one that so we was getting caught up by a very, very talented pair.
This is at Farlow's, isn't it?
Farlow's. This was actually the party swim that you was talking about.
I tell you what, I recognise it. Yeah,
mate, playing a fish for that amount of if the sound was on, there's probably 25 people behind me, good close friends as well, and they all knew that this one here was it's job done.
Yeah.
And the cheer that goes up when Cav nets this is.
So is it?
Yeah. You can hear everyone, man. It was just massive moment.
Is that thank God we've won the match, or is that we've just won 30 grand?
Do you know what? Thank God it's over. Stressing all night. All the bites in that swim were coming through the day. So we built a little bit of a lead up on the first day, and I know what Farlow's is like. They're going to be in the weed during the day, and then they're going to push out in those open water, and there were talented pairs in the open water. And I can just expecting that our lead in the morning was just going to be smashed to bits by 200 pound. And I'm in the waders all night long because we're having to fish around the corner a little bit. And so constantly on the phone to the marshals, like, what's Peg 43 had? What's Scott's had? Because, you know, they're in the...
So Cav's losing more hair at this point.
Cav's losing more hair. We're not getting bites. There's 30 grand at line. It is stressful. And then it fished terrible. It just, sometimes Farlow just doesn't fish well. And that's what we needed to happen for us to do anything out of that swim. Because we come out well late, like 11th in the draw. It was like really poor draw. And we got the call that, mate, it's like one fish been out. And we was like, what? But then about 3 hours before the match was about to end, we've got about a £90 lead, something like that. Hubble and
Joe
Hubble and his match partner, that's really bad, I mean, forgetting his name, but they were clubbing them on the surface. And when you get in Pac-Man and at Farlow's, you can get some fish quick, you know, and it's coming through the phones like, you know.
Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, so good at match angling as well. Just angling in general, you don't need them up your bum. You don't need them, especially on the top, because they can be caught. And yeah, we're just hearing stories of they've had another one. And there was about 20 minutes to go in that video, and I knew we had about a £20 lead. They catch a 20, there's loads of 25s, £30, isn't there? You know, it's over. And having that one over the net call with 20 minutes to go, that was just like...
That's it.
Stressful, mate.
Blimey.
Stressful. But yeah, it was a good match, that one. Really enjoyed it.
But I guess with being a coach as well, it isn't just about, you know, winning these big matches. I mean, personality plays a part as well, doesn't it? And being able to communicate with people.
Get on with people, you know. I do my very best to get on with everyone, you know. It's and it can be, at first it was quite tricky, you know, walking into someone, you don't know their name, you don't know what they're about, their background, their angling experience, and you're walking their swim offering your help. It's all a bit weird at start, and it was weird for me. It's like, who's that? What does he want? Sort of thing, you know?
Do you get negative responses sometimes?
Do you know what? I've only ever seen one on Facebook, and it was a comment like, Korda put a post out saying, Rob's going to be at Farlow's. If anyone wants any help, you know, drop him a message on social media. And one fella replied, cool, if I ever see him in my swim, I'd tell him to fuck off. but mate, I tell you what, it does put it in the back of your mind. You are walking to people's spaces, you know what I mean? It's like, who are you? Sort of thing.
But you really need to know your stuff, don't you? I mean, there's no good being, you know, a little bit unsure about yourself. I mean, by getting a job like that in the first place, you know, someone like Danny employing you to do that job, I mean, he must have. I mean, if you've 250 other people applying for the job and you've got it, clearly there is something there that stands out.
Yeah, but now the interview, I just find it very easy to get on with Dan. Very we just talk. You know, rarely about work. It's just about fishing in general, and that's what it was like in the interview. It wasn't like, oh my God, like Dan's there, I'm here. It's like just talking about fishing, and he's very good at seeing where people are at and stuff like that. And I think he just saw something in me that was like, you're the right man for the job.
He told you there and then, did he?
He did. He offered me the job there and then, which was, it's crazy. I remember him saying, someone, I think it was James Turner, there was four lads that made it to interview, and there was one on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a Friday.
Did you know these guys?
I do now. I do know who they are.
Really good anglers, I take.
Oh, mate. Yeah. Weapons.
We need to apply for this job next time, Toad. Don't they need any more carp coaches?
Yes. But
we'll be 250 and 249 on the list.
but no, some seriously very talented anglers went
Yeah.
for it. You know, so I felt very very lucky to get the job.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never looked back. It's a giant family here. It really is.
Well, and the plan was to just work at Norton Disney. So did this?
No, Norton Disney wasn't even existed back then. You know, Norton Disney, whether it had been purchased or not, I don't know. But no, I was walking around Topper Manor, Farlow's, done tiny little bit on burners, a little bit on linear. But yeah, generally lakes that I knew very well. And
So
I had
are you told where to go then?
at the start, it was, you know, I mean, use these lakes here. And as time's gone on, it changed a little bit. But it worked best. I thought it worked best on lakes that I'd fished already, you know, like Farlow's. You know, I had a bit of influence on there. You know, I've just won a big match on there. I've caught a lot of the fish. People want to know what you know. You know, if I rock up, I remember going to Bluebell once. I've never stepped foot on Bluebell in my life. What do I know about Bluebell? And I got sent there. It was the most awkward thing in my life. You know, people want to catch fish, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never been here. You know.
Well, that's like
it was odd, mate.
That's like climbing Everest and having like a guy, a Sherpa or a guide that's never climbed it before. It just hasn't got that credibility.
Your confidence is not there from the start.
Yeah.
As soon as you start talking, it's like you may know about bits and bobs, but you don't know about my lake. You know, and I generally didn't enjoy that experience. You know, where you put me down Farlow's, mate, I'm in my element. You know, I can walk in someone's swim and point them in the right direction instantly, and then they want to know about how you can catch them, and that's when the rigs and things like that come into play.
So Bluebell, you only went there the once, or?
Yeah, I went there the once, mate. I didn't enjoy it.
And said,
So I said, look, this is.
I need to start fishing this place before
If you want me to coach down here, I need to know about the lake. I need to catch some fish, you know what I mean, and work it out for myself, because I knew nothing, and I didn't enjoy the experience. It's felt well out of place. But yeah, where Farlow's, you can put me down there and I'll coach forevermore, because I know it. Like Norton now. You know, I've spent years at Norton now, and I know it well, and people want to know what you know, and it's good.
God, I bet you've seen some people on Farlow's as well, haven't you?
I see some people
everywhere,
mate.
Yeah.
I've had some really, funny old stories of people, but that's how people learn, you know, by mistakes. I've been there. You know, you took me back to Horseshoe in 2000. I didn't know nothing at all. If you'd have saw me, you'd have been like, who is he cracking off everywhere? There've been little Gardner pocket rockets floating past me every 10 minutes.
Did you start fishing Horseshoe on the 10-year ticket?
Yes, I bought one off back of Carp Talk.
Did you?
I think I got
What did you pay for that?
$250 for 3 years.
All right. Well, I paid $250 in 92.
Wow. And how many years did that give you? Probably
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a bargain of the century. That was at the time,
yeah.
and I think it really helped the Carp Society. It projected them to another level as well. We were fishing there a few years prior to that. Actually, really seriously fishing there the year prior to that. And you used to buy your tickets in the newsagents. And
Really?
the bailiffs started coming round, because we were young, we were like 15 years old.
Who was the main bailiff there?
Oh, what was his name?
Stippler for the rule.
Oh, God.
Clive. Is it Clive?
Yeah, what was his surname? I was talking, there was a guy that I was talking to about him the other day.
Really? He was a good bailiff, wasn't he?
Do you know what?
No shit.
Yeah, and Brian Sefton as well. Do you remember him?
No.
Brian Sefton was there. But Clive was the nice guy.
Yes.
Really nice guy. Firm but fair.
Firm but fair.
Gave me a fun talking to.
I've had
one
plenty.
year.
Yeah. Plenty.
Yeah. And it stayed with me as well.
Yeah.
I should remember his surname. But actually, it was Clive that came round, because we were young kids, came round in 91 and said, boys, just to let you know that next year there's talk that the Carp Society are going to buy Horseshoe Lake. And... you want to get a ticket, And it was, I mean, you probably weren't born then, were you?
1984.
1984.
No, yeah.
Sorry, what am I about? But yeah, so it was a big thing then, and yeah, we bought our 10-year tickets, and yeah, you could sell them for 3 times that.
Really, I remember getting the back of Carp Talk.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
Lasted 3 years, and
so you turned up then. So did you meet Lewis straight away?
No, Lewis was. How did I meet? I know he went to the same school as me. It's probably something like the Westbrook Mere or something like that. I can't remember how I met Lewis, but yeah, he drove, which was really, really handy because I didn't drive at the time, and Lewis had experience of horseshoe. He's like, "You got to get a ticket. You got to get a ticket." So my dad got me a ticket, and he took me over there, and I was literally dumped at horseshoe with a load of rods, a load of bait, go catch the carp. Mate, but I did catch him. Second year, I got stuck right into it. Do you know what I should have done from the start? I should have fished solely in Summer Bay. So much easier fishing, but I didn't. Lewis was in Winter Bay, going for the hits, going for the hauls, and I couldn't compete with him. I didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the tackle or nothing. But no, once I got my head around it, got a bit of confidence, I started catching them, and they're just, again, same as Croxley, just banging carp, aren't they? They're just.
Yeah, I mean, we take it for granted. We probably got a few pictures of some horseshoe carp.
Mate, yeah.
But yeah, and they were shoal fish as well, so they would move around in big shoals.
Massive
and
shoals.
you get these telltale signs as well when.
First ever one, mate. That was. I don't even know how old I was. That's ridiculous. But yeah, 20. I remember it, 23-4, and they're just carp, aren't they? Look at that.
We took them for granted, Rob. You just took that strain of fish for granted.
Yeah. It's only now that you really appreciate them.
Oh my God! I mean, if you see those anywhere now, it's like, where can I get hold of carp like
There's still
that?
a few in there. There's
there
still
are.
There's still a few. Yeah, but no, just mega little mouths, dark. Just
fight hard.
Yeah.
And when they get on the bait there as well, I mean,
they're ravenous.
Yeah,
you can. I've had many a 50 fish hit.
Yeah,
which is crazy, isn't it? But that's what horseshoe was known for. I spent too much time on there chasing the shoal. They're the ones you want. They weren't part of the shoal. If you're catching 10-15 carp a night, you generally weren't catching them. It's the nights you were catching them is when they were stacked in Summer Bay.
So this is a bigger carp that we're looking at now, is it?
Yeah, they're proper ones. I remember that one there. Look at the old Korda hat there, look.
That's got to be one of the original ones, isn't it?
It has, mate, I think, yeah. It's supposed to be, wasn't it? But now that was on Winter Point. But there wasn't, when I was catching the better ones, they were in Winter Bay when all the shoalfish were stacked in Summer Bay. But you just had to just stick with your guns.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I learned in the end. Stop chasing the shoal. I was forever just running around that lake like a lost person with solid bags, casting it, showing fish. And yeah, I soon learned that you've got to settle down on there, commit to your baited spot, and when they come like that.
Did you find that there were there were shoals of bigger fish and smaller fish as well?
Mate, definitely.
So you could, I remember Patch. I
remember photographing it once in sandbags.
Yeah.
What a frame on that fish.
Still around, isn't it?
No, many years ago.
No, I think it's still alive though.
In the river somewhere.
Yeah.
From the floods.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Long live it.
But that one you used to see in the margins on its own.
In the snags and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That was I think there's a fish in a linear I caught from the snags, and I remember seeing it in there about half an hour before I caught it, and yeah, carp that big back then would just look mega, didn't they, in the clear water?
Yeah. But you could still. I remember a session when we were walking around there. This is towards the end of the ticket actually, and one day we were walking around and we saw that patch in the margins, and my friend was actually. This was on a Sunday afternoon. My friend was. He was about to start fishing, but he couldn't make up his mind where to fish. And we saw that patch in the margins, just down to the right of the disabled swim.
Yep.
And
in the lagoon.
Yeah, it was kind of just out of the lagoon, but it was just those swims up there that never ever got fished at the time.
Them big uns knew.
Yeah, they did.
They knew, mate. They knew. Yeah, the lagoon's done so many big uns over the years.
Yeah. My friend decided for some reason to not fish that night. And I was looking at that fish in the margin. I thought, I'm having a go for that. But I didn't have my gear with me. So I was a bit crafty, actually. I'm not normally like that.
No, go on.
I let him go home, waved him out of the gate, and as soon as he drove out the gate, I went down there and I baited. I put a lot of bait in there that night, and I went back there the next morning, and I did catch one, but that patch
Loaded.
Yeah,
She wasn't a regular customer to the bank.
Yeah, I never saw it again.
I saw it at £40. Joe Easton, I think, his name is.
Right.
He had it at the sandbags at £40.12. Just the frame on it just looks so much bigger.
Yeah.
You know, mega carp. But no, if it is still about, brilliant.
Yeah, some happy memories on it. Actually, you got a picture of me holding one tobe, haven't you?
Yeah.
There was a big carp match in '91. I told you about
Yes.
this. It was like, this was before the Carp Society took it over, and it was.
This picture's going to go viral.
It was the biggest.
That is not you. I'm not having it.
How cool's that?
But look at the carp instead. That is epic, isn't it?
I reckon, I might be wrong, but this mega carp match, Albert Romp caught a 25 pounder.
And you think it's that one there?
It might.
Be that one there.
When I caught it, I thought that might have been the same fish. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
But that match was like the absolute who's.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's listening to this.
Did Brian Jarrett win it by any chance? He won most matches down
Brian
at
Jarrett wasn't there.
Oh, was he not? No, he was. He's done.
That was
matches down.
that was a little bit before.
Oh, was it?
Well, I think Hinders probably started
Yeah.
selling fishing gear.
Oh, okay.
Well, early.
All them guys
91,
were
92.
massive influences down there. Like,
Yeah.
was Ian Paul there when you was there?
Yeah, he was fishing.
Just Terminator.
Yeah.
Brian Jarrett, Terminator.
Yeah.
Just
Effortless.
A lot of the Elstow boys were there as well, and the way they fished as well. They were tram lining way before we were. You know, little stow bobbins, and they were just haulers. And you always looked up to them guys, wanting to be them. You know, and that first year I wasn't. I wasn't at all.
But you saw some pioneering stuff on that lake
Yeah.
as well. Back in '91, that was the first time I saw anyone spomming, and these two twins that used to fish there, they were deadly anglers, those two. And they were using washing up liquid, cutting bottles, cut in half, and they were spomming out mixers.
Yes.
We'd never seen anyone doing that
No.
before. There was all of that stuff that was going on there at the time, which was absolutely pioneer.
Yeah.
Clipping up,
Yes.
solid PVA bags, zig fishing.
It was one of the best lakes around, wasn't it? Horseshoe. It was didn't have the biggest carp in the country, but what it had, it made up in just immense carp and lots of them. It wasn't just one or two, was it? There was so many big ones. Do you remember the old website that used to have all the? Okay, I must remember that. The old website with
It took
all
me
the.
a long time to get on the internet.
Oh right, no, they used to have a website, the carp site, with all the carp in there.
Yeah.
So you could literally go through them and just so many.
Classic lake. Yeah, but like you say, I mean, it's they lost those fish, but it's starting.
Mate, I was there last year doing a mainline carp project. You know, it was lovely to be back. It's changed a bit. All the houses behind sandbags and Big Double and all that. I'd love to live there. They back on to just like paradise.
Perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, but now that they're coming through and they're nice, and there's still a few originals. I caught two absolute worldy originals. Not monsters, 24s, but they would have been swimming around when I was there 18, 19 years ago.
We fished it 3 or 4 years ago, and we had a lovely couple of days fishing there. And you know when it's like, don't go back to your childhood and that.
Yeah.
But we went back. We had a really, really nice session actually, and the fishing is still, it's technical. You know, it can be quite technical.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, and it's got a bit of everything. So these doing your tuitions and stuff and going around the lakes. What's the most common fault you see with
common fault
mistakes?
Do you know? I think anyway, in my own, less is definitely more. You know, and lads these days have got like a necklace. You know, they'll have for instance, I see it all the time, like a safe zone leader with a hybrid leg clip on it, and off that they'll have another little quick link swivel to another swivel. And it's just like a calamity of swivels, and just it's not needed. Bait as well. You know, I get excited when I go fishing, but I don't knock up my mix when I'm at home, you know, and they'll get there and they've got all their liquids in their pellet and all their hemps in it, and it's just a big congealed mass, you know. It's just, you know, you look at all the best seat box match anglers in the world, all their baits all separated, lovely, all fresh and looked after, and it's all them little things, you know, that build up to why the best are out there always giving it their best and doing their best, because they're just on it. from everything, But yeah, you just too much going on with a lot of people's tackle,
And preempting their sessions before they've even started.
Exactly, they'll knock up a 10 key mix, and it could be 30 degrees, and it's just, you look at it, it's like what you're working with, sort of thing, bait wise, and they'll show you it, and it's like, bloody hell, like it's stodgy and heavy, and I say to them, like, would you want to eat that? Would that fill you up? And they're like, well, yeah. I said, well, we want to catch them, not feed them,
Yeah.
We want to give them food that's going to go straight through them, and you're catching more carp. That's how I was brought up,
Is that, I know that you like soaking boilies in water before a session.
It all depends on the situation.
And the time of the year.
Yeah, you've got to be versatile, I don't do nothing until I get there.
Right.
I don't know what swim I'm going to be in, I don't know. I might even be going home because it's too busy. It's no good knocking up a big 10 key mix.
So you're taking a ton of kit with you, ton of bait?
I'm just prepped.
Right.
I'm ready for every eventuality, but it's in the back of the van. I've got some dry pellet there. My hemp's in water. It's going to last 2 weeks now. I'm going to get ferment and get better. My sweet corn's in cans. My freezer bait's probably been air dried well before, can get crumbed up, add liquids. But it's not all just one big congealed mess. It's ready to go, but I'm not committing to anything. I've gone fishing loads of times and just put a single solid bag out because that's what the swim's giving me. It doesn't need lots of bait, where people they just get too excited, I think, and they're at home and they're grinders knocking it up, and I'm going to get in this swim, and
well, it's nice that people want to be prepared, don't they? And it feels like you need to be doing something before a session.
Exactly.
But like you say, would you do you generally have a lot of different methods in your armoury, or
I think you've got to as an angler, mate? I'm no absolute expert at anything, but I'd like to think I've got a very good understanding of everything. I can happily fish in the weed. I can happily hit a clip at 40 wraps. I can happily fish surface fishing, zigs. It's all there. I'm no absolute pro at everything, but I've got an understanding of it all, and I know what it takes to put fish in the bank.
Yeah.
A lot of like all the top anglers, they've all got that very good understanding of their craft.
You following weather conditions and stuff before you?
Everything, mate. It's just like, I can tell you what the weather's doing on Wednesday, every day of the week. I know you're just always in tune with it. You wake up in the morning and what's the weather doing next week? What's the air pressure doing? What's the wind doing? That lake there would fish well in that conditions. You know what I mean? I still see certain winds, and you go back to reminiscing of lakes, and you think, that swim there, they'll be there, even though you're not going to go there.
Well, I guess doing the tutorials as well, or doing the coaching, up at Norton, as regularly as you are, you get to see those patterns as well, don't you?
Absolutely. I'm on the bank more than I am in my own bed. I'm living and breathing it all the time. Even when I may not be fishing, for me, when I'm at Norton, I'm still very, very much in tune with it, so I can give that information back on. I need to know everything.
Go on then, Rob, I'm going to test you. What's the weather doing on Thursday?
At Thursday, mate, it's absolutely pouring. It's 11 degrees in the day, 1 degrees at night. The pressure's decent. It's about 1,010. I think on Wednesday it's 1,008. And wind is about 22 mile an hour gusts with 11 mile an hour solid.
Mate, stop it. That's pretty bang on that.
Mate, it's obsession.
Any people that write these comments in about you, Rob, honestly,
it's an obsession,
they
mate.
Absolutely underestimate you, don't they?
That was actually more than the app had provided me. You were better than my weather app.
You know that. So what? A week in hand, you're looking at weather
always
forecasts.
on it, mate. I've got about 4 different ones on my phone. One gives me a 15-day, which I don't tend to take too much notice on, but you generally get a rough idea. Mate, I could tell you what it was this time last year. Just I like a lot of looking at the history of it as well.
Really?
Yeah, mate.
You remember all that?
It's just.
You got a good memory for everything.
Fishing, yes.
Anything else?
No, I'm always getting things wrong.
It's because it's all fishing, isn't it?
Mate, it's on my brain.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, that is
It's
impressive.
just on my brain. I can't help
very
it.
Impressive.
Can't help it. But everything else, mate, I am used. I don't even know where my keys are half the time. Seriously, I lose my phone 4 times a day. But when it comes to fishing, I want to know everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's bad. It's terrible.
Well, no, but I mean, it illustrates to people the
It's the importance. You've got to be
the
switched
detail
on.
that you need to be able
but
to.
in a way, I've dedicated my life to it.
Right.
I'm away from home a hell of a lot. And if I'm going to do it, let's do it properly. Do
you see a job like that? Do you see yourself burning out by doing a job like that?
At the start, yes.
Yeah.
And at the start, I was doing 5 days a week. and I give it my all. I'm not just there. I'm committed to it. And when you do 5 days a week, you're home for 2. That first day you're knackered. Being on the bank 5 days it drains you, and that first day is a bit of a write-off. You just sitting on the sofa chilling out. Sunday evening comes, you're prepping again for next week for 5 days. And I said, I've done a year of it. I said, Dan, I can't sustain this. I'm as keen as mustard, mate, but I can't sustain this. It will burn me out. And he said, do 4. If you can't do 5, no one will do
Easy
5.
as that, yeah.
And Dan's that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't turn around to me and go, well, mate, that's the contract. That's what you signed up for. He's very good at recognising that if you're struggling, he will help you out.
Well, someone like yourself is dedicated and is as hardcore as you are, and if you're finding it difficult, I guess Dan would see that and think, we need to. They
want the best out of me. They don't want me burnt out, do they?
Absolutely.
They want me at my top of the game, helping people, not just a tired Rob.
What about relationships at home and stuff? Does that ever?
I missed out on loads.
Yeah.
Mrs. would be like, doing a barbecue with the family on Saturday. Sorry, babe, I'm at Topper. So that happened all the time. You've
got an understanding missus.
Oh, very understanding. Yeah, very, very understanding. But we're both going to be getting tested very, very shortly in about 4 months' time, because we've actually got a little one on the way.
Yeah.
I know, it's all going to... I like my sleep when I'm at home. I'm scared.
Plenty of coffee. You'll be
Is that your first, Rob?
It is.
I saw your Instagram with it. Did you put a scan or something?
Yeah, we're due a little girl in, I think, Soph's now.
Congratulations,
yeah,
mate.
Thank you, lads. Thank you. There, 23, 24 weeks gone now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've always wanted to be a dad, if I'm honest with you. It's something that, carp fishing's a massive part of my life, but I don't want to get to sort of 45 years old and think, hang on a minute, that's all I've done.
Right.
It's important to have a balance, and little babies definitely give me a balance, all right. A wake-up call and all.
Yeah, no, that definitely will make a difference to you. But, I mean, you need an understanding. She supports you, doesn't she, with the carp matches and stuff as well?
Yeah, she's been down with plenty of times.
Yeah.
Only because she wants a handful of money, probably. little hand in the money. But her and Bex as well, Cav's girlfriend, they come down a lot.
Yeah.
They used to come down and support us for the last couple of hours, and it's nice. Seeing there at Fast, the year we came second.
That's lovely. That's a nice picture.
Yeah, man, that's on my wall, that one. No, it's they always like, how you getting on? You're going to win. It's like,
so your missus there, I can see her pulling that check to
oh,
one
mate,
side.
that's been banked, that one already.
Yeah.
But now I've not done the matches now for 2 years, maybe 3 years, because to be fair, coronavirus really played a massive part in that, because no one's done any matches. But I've missed them. It gives you that drive. But where I've missed the matches, doing my own little bit of personal fishing recently at Croxy's given me that
different incentive. Yeah.
Just the real buzz back.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm always in tune with it, but having that real buzz like I've experienced in the last week or so is nice. Not felt that for a little while.
Is that the only syndicate ticket you've got?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I had the Manor last year.
Yeah.
Again, I met Will. Will is a character. Absolute. You cannot. I love his stories. I love his energy, and he's had some big uns from over the years at the Manor. And Cav done a couple of years in the Manor as well, and he was like, "Mate, it's a bit of you," because we both fish Croxley, and it's all very 5-6 wraps down
similar
the margin.
Sort of size and stuff, isn't it?
Very similar style.
Narrow lake.
Big old carp, and he was like, "It's a bit of you. You'll enjoy it." And Will put me forward for a ticket, and I spent a lot of time with Will last year on there because of COVID. I wasn't working coaching.
You filmed as well, didn't you, while you were on?
Yeah, we done a little reminiscence of how the year's been. It wasn't sort of an in-session piece. It was like, how's the year been?
No, I like that. It wasn't too deliberate.
You're very natural around Will as well. He's just, I don't know, he's got, like I say, a great aura and a great energy. And I think it came out quite natural as well. But yeah, we had some mega fish. I learnt a lot from Will, and mega place. But I didn't rejoin this year, unfortunately, because I haven't got the time. If it wasn't for COVID last year, I would have probably done a handful of sessions, but it was close to the office, and I thought, the days I come in the office, there's an overnighter opportunity. I had nothing around it. It was very much go home or travel 2 hours down the road to go somewhere else. But yeah, I joined up well before COVID hit in, and it was a sort of blessing in disguise because I actually got to do a bit of fishing down there.
But bit busy though.
busy.
Yeah.
Busy and switched on anglers as well. Everyone knows the crack down there, you know, and I learnt that quick.
So what are you doing differently then? I mean, you're looking at what everybody else is doing.
I'll tell you straight up, I love the maggot fishing, the corn fishing. It catches carp, you know, and the first thing I asked Cav was, mate, will they get on the maggots? And he was like, they will, but only in November. You know, the roach on there are absolute, just, they're on it. You know, you throw a boilie in apparently, and it ping-pongs all the way to the bottom. So from the get-go, I'm like, I'm going to have to wait till November till I sort of potentially get a hit. Because you can get some good hits on the old maggots and casters and corn and stuff. And but yeah, I've done a few sessions, played the game down there, fished the chods, fished the zigs, had some results, caught some nice fish, caught some big uns. And then
but everyone else is doing the same sort of thing.
Everyone's doing the same sort of thing. You know, it's all very much zigs, hinges, boilies, that sort of approach. No one's bombing out really. It's all done by catapult, which 5 wraps out. That's what you need to do on the margin. And always bugged me. You know, and the thing that bugged me was like, and I ran Cav a couple of times. I was like, mate, these roach, like, I'm not seeing them. Like, he was like, yeah, mate, you've only got to throw a handful of particle in or something, and they'll just go mad. And I'm like, well, I'm not seeing them. And the curiosity got the better of me in the end, and I was like, I'm going down next weekend. I'm taking down a few gallons of maggot, a little bit of corn. If I get roached out, at least I can say I've tried it. And this is in June time. So I got down there, I didn't tell Will or nothing, I was going to go on the maggot, got myself in the swim called the Steps, and went for it, mate. Filled it in with the maggot and corn. But what I'd done on the left down rod was I put maggots as hook baits over about 10-15 spoms, well away from this big area that I was going to create, just to see, because I'm not seeing the roach at this point. If I come back an hour later and my maggots on top of my fake corn have been absolutely smashed, I know they're smashing, because it's quite deep, I know they're smashing the life out of me down there. So yeah, I put this sort of prospect rod down to the left and had my main baited spot going. Hours gone by and I'm thinking, I wonder what's going on down there. Am I getting ruined or what? So an hour later, I just reeled my rod in. Maggots were perfect on this rig, and I'm like, mate, if I'm fishing here with maggots on the bottom and the casters in the corner and that, there's no way they're going to just come in and not feed. And I had a session of my lifetime. Absolutely blitzed it. I think I had, and it was the first hit of the year. I think I had 7 fish in a day and a half. So blanked the first day, but once they got on it, I had 7, including some nice ones.
Lots of maggots.
Not talking gallons. I think I took 2 gallon with me. I might took 3 gallon with me and about a couple of key of corn. And I started off like I always do: gallon of corn, gallon of maggot, and a couple of key of corn. You know.
And this big baiting area, do you bait it initially and then just leave it, or you
play the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no topping up. I didn't want to sort of make the roach come in. It was like get it in and chill. You know, get it to the bottom, and had a right old session. But they caught up on me. Don't know what happened. I had that hit, had the pound coin, which was quite a rare one, and banging fish as well. Had falcos and a couple more as well. Went back the next week, done exactly the same thing.
It's pound coin. Yeah.
That went to 48 in the autumn.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
She is a beast, but a rare one as well. You know, a real rare one. But caught that one, and then I went back the week after, done the exact same thing. Had a recapture straight away of fish called the pikey mirror. I slipped him back, and then I caught a real special one, one of the real sort of targets of the man, and that was the baby Norton. Real cool carp.
Yeah.
And after that, the roach came.
Did they?
They started topping. Well, I went down to the next session, and I was just like, we're probably about a month into this now, sort of July. Yeah, baby Norton.
Awesome carp.
Look at that. You just... You know, just mega old carp.
Is its head that black? Is it, or is that just the?
It's probably a little bit of darkness in the camera there, but she's that cool.
Is that quite silty on the bottom there?
It's got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no real gravelly areas there. Not real pronounced gravel. A lot more clayey and things like that, and silkweedy.
Yeah.
You see the margin; it's all littered with sort of like algae blooms and big Canadian and stuff. But yeah, just. You know, mega. But yeah, I went back the week after that, different pond. I don't know where they came from. but they were back, and I don't think the maggots were hitting the bottom.
Do you think you were lucky the first time?
Absolutely, mate.
Just
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I weren't seeing the roach, and just thought I've got to try this because I know it will catch carp, and it done really well. But I got tormented about. I got turned over the third time because the roach came back, and then the fourth time I'm like, maybe it's a one-off. I've got to go again. Fifth time, so I know.
Right.
I had a terrible autumn.
Same area of the lake. And
No,
everything,
I played around different areas, went into deeper water. Because people, when I caught the pound coin and that, everyone was fishing. It was June. You know, they come right in the margins, and I was like, well, if I put these maggots in 7-8 foot of water on the slope, I'm definitely going to get smashed by the roach. So I purposely fished about 10 wraps out, which puts you in like 18 foot of water, just to try and get away from the roach.
Didn't you say you were fishing really accurately as well?
Yes, bombing out there, you know, doing it properly, you know, popping the marker float up, fishing absolutely bang onto it. Because when you're fishing in like 18 foot of water, the backswing you get from feeling the lead down, it's no good. I've seen a lot of lads down there. They're cast out, they come down for their overnighter, literally quick overnighter, loads of lads, you know, cast out, they get their ring from where their lead's hit, rod straight on the floor and baiting that ring up. You know, your lead's probably dropped 6 foot away from it, so I was always...
So 18 foot of water, how far? Do you think 6 foot then?
It all depends, you know, there's a lot of variables in probably lead size, but also if you're one of them, if you just hit the clip and let it drop, you know, you're going to get...
I don't always like feeling drops, Rob, because
Do you not?
No, because well, for that sort of purpose as well. It's like or feeling or hitting the clip too hard or whatever. I remember fishing on a lake once, and there was a plateau about 25 yards out, and it was really, really hard to find. And I climbed up a tree, and a mate cast it out, and you could see it was hitting the clip. You could see the lead zip straight across, and it wasn't that deep.
No.
If you
hit it too hard, you've got all that spring in the line,
and you don't realise, do you? You just don't realise how that lead comes back a long way.
It does.
You know.
It does. So I was baiting up to the marker float, which was really important.
Yes.
You know, and then, but yeah, like I say, it worked really well for 2 sessions, and then beat me up for a further 6. And I had a terrible autumn. You know, the roach stuck around for a long time. They were supposed to disappear late October. They didn't till about, when I was gone by then, mid-November. The boys started catching them again and doing really well. But yeah, no. I
thought you were going to say actually that you were using the maggots and then everyone else got on them. And
I was quite cute about it. I was trying to be cute about it, and I wasn't going down there loads either, you know. But now it doesn't take long for them sort of anglers to be like good anglers, you know, switched on lads. They knew what I was up to a little bit after a little while. Yeah.
But I guess that's someone coming onto a lake for the first time and not knowing and being a little bit naive and just going in there like that. And
you've got to listen to your gut.
Yeah.
You know, if I'd have got to November and caught a handful of carp, and it was always in the back of the mind, should have tried that. I hate that. I have to try it.
So would you advise people to use maggots on there now then?
I'd advise people to go with their gut.
Yeah.
You know, go with what you know. Don't just because you've joined the syndicate or a club lake and there's a way of fishing it that your way. And maggots and casters and corn, they're no secret. Everyone does it, but you've got to pick your times. I just thought I saw an opportunity because the roach weren't there, you know, and you've got to just fish with your gut. You know, regret is a terrible thing in carp fishing.
Well, it was the right call.
It paid off.
It paid off then, didn't it?
It paid off, yeah.
What about as a result of working for Korda and being the carp coach? You do quite a lot of media stuff now. Were you? And I think you talk really, really well actually. And I think you've got a good voice for it. You narrate stuff very, very well. Was that something that came naturally to you?
No, mate, I still think I'm terrible now. I've got a very small vocabulary.
Doesn't matter.
But I chat on film how I chat to anglers in the bank, or I like to think I do. You know,
it's not always easy though, is it?
No, it's not. No, but now the filming, it just I was with Korda probably 3 months, and Dan was like, "Right, mate, fancy a masterclass?" And I'd done little bits with sticky baits in the past, going out with like Rich Stewart, who's so talented in the camera, but it's not daunting because all he's got really is a DSLR, like a 5D Mark III, and it's just all very just a camera following you around. These masterclasses, well, You know, you've got massive, great big FS7s.
Well, it's masterclass, isn't it?
You know, you've got drones in the air. You've got photographers in the background.
It's a proper operation, isn't it?
It's an operation, mate, and it does put. It's like
swims and lakes closed off for a lot of that stuff, or
all depends on the situation.
Right.
Yeah, having swims closed off is not beneficial sometimes. Fish have got fins, believe it or not. They move around, and you've got to move around with them. You know, on some of these busy complexes, you know, where there's no swims available, like none. You know, swims are roped off sometimes for the benefit of the film and the information going out to the fisheries clientele as well. You know, it's no good us sometimes rocking up to an absolute busy lake. You're stuck in a corner and you're blank. You know, you can show what you're showing, but it helps if you're on the fish. You know, and I'm not a massive fan of getting swims roped off, but
yeah,
it is for the purpose of the video sometimes. You know, you've just got to get on them. You know, I'd much rather get down there 2 days before, work me nuts off to get in the swim and do it that way. And I've had some of my best ever filming projects where I've got there 2 days before, you know, and I'm like, leave me to it for 2 days and I'll know what the crack is then. You know, I know where the fish are, I know what I've got to do. Sometimes going in cold, you know, and you're straight off the bat. Right then, Rob, let's go fishing. It's a lot to think about. My mind's on the fish, but yet you've got to portray that as well on film, and it's stressful when you ain't caught one on the bank. You know what I mean? You've got to make it happen.
And I mean, masterclass as well. I mean, it's Dan's only going to want people, obviously, that are going to be able to deliver on those films as well. I mean,
and there's a set criteria you got to hit for masterclass.
Right.
You know, it's not just an in-session piece.
Do you get asked what you would ideally like to specialise in for your masterclass?
Not generally. There's generally a brief. You know, there's generally a brief that stick to it roughly. You know, with your own little twist on it. But yeah, there's always a brief, and you sort of stick to it. And
what was your first masterclass?
Coaching AJ, which is perfectly fitting for the job. You know, I'm the coach.
Topper Manor?
No, it was actually at Crown Country Lakes, one of Embryo's waters, Crown Country.
Right,
lovely place.
Yeah.
Really, really cool place. But it didn't go to plan for the first day. You know, I've been put on this masterclass. We're in this swim. I've had a chat with Dan beforehand. He's like, right, mate, you know, they're new fish. They come up the margin. All you've got to do, mate, is literally 10 key pellet down there, 10 key pellet down there on the shelf. Plop, plop. They'll start jumping on the lines. I'm like, all right, sweet. So we get down there, cover that. Before I know it, like, I'm quite a cute angler. I like, you know what I mean? I'm tucked away and slack lines, and I don't want anyone combing my swim. And before you know it, there's drones in the air. It's just like, I'm like, this is not gonna. I can't know I'm gonna get a bite here. You know. Sometimes, yeah, you just got to be like, that's not going to happen. This is not going to on this occasion. Let's go with my way. And we started fishing slightly differently, and we started catching them in the end. But yeah,
that surprised Dan.
Yeah, because he's been down there and fished for them, you know, and he's caught them exactly like that. And I'm sure 9 times out of 10, it would work if you're sitting there playing the game by yourself. But when you've got 6 people in your swim, you're trying to coach on the end of a jetty, and you've got drones in the air and all that, the fish are just like, really? And we had to.
It's a nice idea, actually, coaching someone on those, isn't it?
AJ's a cool lad. It's Spooner's cousin. We went on to do Topper as well. It's really, really good fun. And then we done Norton Disney the year after. Watching AJ progress as well was really fun.
Does he fish regularly now?
He does. I still catch up on social media. He's goes down the fens quite a bit and catches them. Yeah, he's a good lad. And
you must hear stuff back from lots of people that you've met. You know.
Do you know, I love that part of it. Always, that's when you know they've learned as well. You know, it can be sometimes sort of information overload when you're on the bank. There's a lot for them to pick up if they're at that sort of level where they want to learn loads. But yeah, hearing back from them, you know, oh mate, I've done it really well, and you know, it's caught me this fish here. That's going to stick with them forever. You know, and I know I've done my job good then.
You're seeing noticeable improvements, are you?
Definitely, mate. Yeah, I've coached some lads that have gone on to do really, really well. Like, really well. And like the carp academies as well. I think about 24 kids go. 12, yeah, something like that. And there's always a couple of standouts. I've been lucky. I've been so blessed with the lads I've had. And I've had some apps. I remember one lad called Teddy. He just had it from the start. You know, the way he cast, the way he hit the clip, he took his time. He's gone on and he's caught some lovely he's only young, 17 now, 16, and he's caught them all. You know, he's catching them, he's doing it, he's enjoying it.
You done that stuff though, didn't you, when you were younger? Did you?
No,
You've never done any junior fishing?
I'd love to have done one at Horseshoe, but I think it was a little bit before my time on there. Not too sure, but no, never done one. Never done the BYCAC either. Gutted about that. I'd love to have done that. So yeah, missed out on a few things, but I was fishing, no doubt, so can't complain.
Yeah, we had to do it the hard way.
Was it? Yeah.
Well,
yes.
yeah. I mean, it was about building relationships with people, wasn't it? And you know, it was different. But I mean, it's equally as challenging because there are more people doing it nowadays as well. So there are more people doing it.
Yeah. Fishing now is generally you're not against the carp. You know, you're against other anglers. You know, because it's hard work getting in swims. It's really hard work. You know, and that's you know where you want to be. As soon as you get to the lake, I know within a few hours, just by I'm quite good at extracting information out of people. You know, I'm not just in their swim. You up, mate? Where are they? You know, I'll cup of tea with someone and just asking little questions that help me out. And it's so important. A lot of people don't do it. They see an empty swim, that's them done. You have to lap and lap and lap. Talk to everyone. I want to know their eyes have been on the lake 24, 48 a week. Before my eyes, they know the information, you know, where they've seen fish, what time the bites have been coming, you know, you've got to extract, and then you get yourself in the right situation.
That's a real skill in itself, and being able to talk to people.
It helps. It
really
helps. I enjoy, I'm not just walking around trying to extract, I quite enjoy chatting to people, see how they get on, and, you know, and it helps my job as well.
Yeah.
You know, building relationships with people. I've met loads of great friends from just walking around, me trying to get on the fish, and you end up meeting someone, catching up with them later on, and they become a regular. And
have you always been like that as well, quite social with people?
Horseshoe, it was always a social place, wasn't it? You know, you're always lapping, always walking around, always asking questions, and I was that guy, a little punisher back then, just sitting in swims like, are you catching them? I want to know. You want to learn, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, you don't learn by not putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's not talking about rigs and stuff, you're still learning by talking to people. You know, and I've learned loads of fantastic, cute little things off people that you wouldn't necessarily think you'd learn from. You know, little ways of doing things, and you think, that's actually quite clever. You know, and you put it into your own little fishing in a certain way, and you're never too experienced to learn, ever.
No, you're certainly not. What's coming up, do you know, fishing-wise now with Croxley and...
Yeah, Croxley, it will always be a treat. You know, I'm not going to sit down there and campaign it out, and I'll just once every couple of months, and I'll probably go with Toby as well. You know, it's you're right, mate. Fancy going fishing for 48? So I enjoy it. We sit there, play cards, and have a nice bit of dinner, and Croxley will always be that special place. But apart from that, do you know what? I'm just looking forward to getting back to work. I've not coached since October because of COVID, and from next week, it will start.
Have you been furloughed or?
No, I did for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then after that, been doing a lot of filming stuff and just general bits like that.
Carpology and mainline.
Get out with them guys as much as I can. Mainline carp projects are really good fun.
Yeah.
Getting really well with knee bones, a good lad. So yeah, just you know, even when I'm not coaching on the video side of things, you've still got to look at the bigger picture that you're giving out information. It's a privilege, you know, to give everyone your experiences via YouTube, because, you know, when I'm coaching, I'm only coaching 1 to 3 people a day. When you're on these videos, fishing's massive now, and you're getting like 250,000 views. You know, not everyone's there to learn, but even if like 2% of that viewing is there to pick up information, you've helped a lot of people.
It's surprising, actually, with the information thing, isn't it? You can regurgitate the same thing over and over again, and they're still super popular videos as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
so there's an abundance of that. And seeing sessions where you're catching 30-odd carp in a session on a popular day ticket water as well. I mean, people can relate to that and go to those lakes. And
do you know what? Linear's doing that time and time again now.
Yeah.
It's crazy some of the hits that are coming out of there. But yeah, now then videos are really good. It's a bit of confidence for people as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's my swim. I'm in that swim. You know, I can relate to that spot now, and that's a really good way of baiting up, and it gives them the confidence, you know.
Yeah. So even when you're not on the bank, you're doing stuff on film. It's always educating people.
Yeah,
at the moment.
I'm really enjoying the filming side of things now. Like before, I didn't know the videographers. You know, I didn't. It was a bit awkward. But now that you're filming with your friends, your colleagues.
Come to you as a result of the Korda stuff, do they?
Well, no, it's just like when you're doing master. Like this week alone, I'm out with Lewis Porter, one of our new videographers. So talented. It's just, you know, it was only a matter of time before we hopefully got him. First time film with Lou, but we were out doing a session about how to combat crayfish. You know, the day in the life of me at the minute, the week, sorry, you never know where you're going to be. I could be coaching 1 minute at Norton, doing a film on an embryo water crayfish. I could be doing a monster carp in a foreign. It's not just coaching. It's quite a diverse and really, really fun role.
Yeah.
Really fun role. And I'm doing podcasts for you. He's
hit the big time, Tobe, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
You've peaked now, Rob.
I've peaked now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I've got a baby. It's going to go downhill, isn't it?
Well, look, thanks very much for coming on the show.
No, absolute pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rob.
Take care.
The Thinking Tackle Podcast.